What's going on, Lego Maniacs? It's Ty, the Lego guy here, and welcome to another episode of Ty's Talks. This Q&A had some really good questions, everything from stop motions to, my favorite MOC builder. Good questions all in all. And again, if you guys have questions for next Ty's Talks, just leave them in the comments and we'll get to them in Ty's Talks episode 16. But enough talk, let's get right into it. And our first question comes to us from Ninja Ozzy, and he asks, what is your most important set and why? I really like this one because it's not my favorite set, which I don't really have one. It's my most important set, and I have to say it's the Explorer Starship from 1996. That set is really where the love of Lego started with me. It was a gift from my grandpa, and I had liked some other sets before, but it was that set that really got my Lego collection started. I mean, I was very young, but yeah, late 90s space sets definitely were where it was at. That really got me into Lego, and yeah, it's like one of my favorite things ever. So I'd probably say the Explorer Starship because that's basically what started it all. And our next question comes to us from Jawa, and he asks, who is your favorite MOC builder? Mine is Luca or First Order Lego. So I had to think about this. I'm probably gonna go with Jay, like from Rich Boy Jay, his channel. He's phenomenal. I mean, I loved his Battlefront 2 MOC. I loved his, even though I'm not a big sequel guy, I really liked his Starkiller base, which he's still working on. He's a phenomenal builder. One day I'd like to be as good of a builder as him. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but if you're watching this, Jay, you're fantastic. Your MOCs are unbelievable. He's probably my favorite MOC builder. And our next question comes to us from Commander Cody Productions, and he asks, what is your favorite 2000s theme other than Star Wars, and what is your favorite set from the 2000s? So this one's actually interesting. It kind of leads into another question one of you guys had. My favorite theme besides Star Wars is going to be the Adventurers in the 2000s. I just love that theme. It is phenomenal. And as far as my favorite set from the 2000s, this is where it kind of gets interesting. It's a toss-up between the 2003 AT-AT or the 2002 Republic Gunship. I think both those sets are phenomenal. I own one of them. I don't own the 02 Republic Gunship. Maybe one day. It's just such an expensive set, but I think that's my favorite Star Wars, or my favorite set from the 2000s. And our next question comes to us from Broxy Lego, and he asks, I'm starting a MOC and stop motion series, and I have pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean and pirates from Pirates, and I'm trying to debate whether to use Pirates of the Caribbean minifigs because they have regular skin tones, while pirates like Redbeard are yellow. So should I stick with Pirates of the Caribbean or with generic pirates, or do both in the same stop motion or MOC? Okay, so you got a detailed question there, but I like it. I personally don't care if there's tan pirates and there's yellow minifig pirates. It doesn't really bother me, but I know a lot of viewers are kind of irked by that. What I do is I kind of stick to whichever one you have the most of, and then if you need, like, let's say you need Jack Sparrow to show up, they'll accept one minifig or a couple just because you need those named characters. But for the most part, I just stick with yellow skin tone. I think it will just overall look better for your stop motion, or tan, just one or the other. And then if you need to have select few figures that have the tan or yellow printing, throw them in, but otherwise stick to the primary colors. Anyways, good question. I had to think about that one, but I think that would work best for you. And our next question comes to us from alphabricks channel, and he asks, I know you like history and the era of the Roman Empire, so will you be buying the Lego Colosseum? And what other Lego Roman Empire sets would you like Lego to make? I added the Lego in there. So, good question. Yes, I do definitely plan on buying the Roman Colosseum. However, I'm gonna mod it. If you guys look at his comment a little bit more, he actually modded it himself as well. I think that's awesome. I hope to do the same. And as far as other sets, I'd love it if they made like the Roman Pantheon, or maybe like Hadrian's Wall, and you had a bunch of Roman soldiers, walking along it with maybe barbarians trying to break in. Marcus Aurelius, like his battles on the Danube, that would be fantastic as well. Him fighting dramatic tribes, like just stuff like that, or maybe even just like a chariot race. Like, they kind of hinted at that with that promo that came with the Coliseum. I think any of those would be fantastic. I'd be all for it. Yeah, great question. Yeah, that's probably where I'd put it. Maybe even like an Egyptian set where they had Roman soldiers in it and like Egyptian soldiers fighting, like if you got Cleopatra and Mark Antony against Octavian. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of ideas that they could do with it. I think it would be fantastic. Those would be some of the sets I'd choose. And our next question comes to us from mattgaming. You have a lot. I can't answer them all, but he asks, favorite time of year, favorite Lego set, favorite minifig, favorite theme, favorite game. So favorite time of year, I'm gonna say probably spring and early summer. That sounds really weird. I just really like the temperature generally at that time of the year where I live in Canada. My favorite Lego set, I don't have one. Superstar Destroyer, you know, Imperial Flagship, those are some of my favorites, but there's just too many good Lego sets. My favorite minifig, again, impossible to answer. My favorite theme, probably Star Wars, or if we're being loose, the Lego system theme, which is Pirates, Castle, Adventurers, Space, Western. Like, they all fell under that, 80s and 90s sets. And my favorite game, Age of Empires 2 or Battlefront 2, but I'm probably gonna say Age of Empires 2 just because I'm trying to go pro with that, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, good questions. Sorry I couldn't answer some of them. It's just choosing your favorite Lego set is next to impossible. And our next question comes to us from karmalink, and he asks, if you could pick two sets from each decade, favorite set and runner-up, what is your favorite sets from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and 2000s? So, great question. I had to think about this one. My favorite set from the 70s would probably be the Command Center. It's a space set. And then the runner-up would be the Light Cruiser, or Space Cruiser. I always mess that up. Yeah, those would be the sets for the 70s. I had to think about that just because 70s is kind of out of my element for Lego sets. As far as the 80s, my favorite set is probably going to be the Eldorado Fortress. And then the runner-up would be the original Barracuda. I think those two sets are phenomenal. This was hard. For the 1990s, my favorite set is probably going to be the Temple of Anubis, the adventure set. Like, that set's fantastic. And then the runner-up would be the Legorado Fort. Both those are so good. And on any given day, it can maybe change between the two, which one I like more. For the 2000s, I'm gonna go with the 2002 Republic Gunship. That's probably my favorite from the 2000s. And then the runner-up would be the 2003 AT-AT, but they're both so close. Again, they can switch on any given day. Great question. I really had to think about that one, but those are the answers I was able to come up with. And our next question comes to us from JH, and he asks, what is your favorite and least favorite Lego sailing ship? Imperial Flagship does not count. So I really like this question. I love the fact that you put Imperial Flagship doesn't count because he probably knew I'd choose that one. As much as I like the 80s Barracuda ship, I'm gonna go with the new Barracuda from 2020. I just think that set is phenomenal. It is my favorite 2020 Lego set, hands down. I hope that counts because it's technically ideas, but it's sort of pirates. And my least favorite ship is Captain Redbeard's pirate ship. It is a 4+ pirate ship. I know I'm not marketed, they're not trying to market it to me. You know, it's meant to be for a kid. I just think it's a bad ship though, and I hate those minifigs. Like, I don't hate them quite as much as, you know, the Friends mini dolls, but they're up there. Like, I'm really not a fan, and if you guys like them, I'm not trying to like offend you, it's just they're just not my thing, and that ship just irks me. I don't like it, especially since they should have just given us a pirate theme again in the 2000s. So there's other reasons why I kind of dislike it. But anyways, good question. I had to think about that one. And our last question comes to us from GamerKnight977, and he asks, Bad Batch or 501st? So I had to think about this. I do like Bad Batch. I love the fact that we're probably getting a 2021, you know, Bad Batch ship, which will be fantastic. But I'm still gonna go with the 501st. I love Clone Wars. I absolutely love Clone Wars, and part of the reason I love Clone Wars so much is the clones. Like, I love Rex. I love 5s. Heavy. I love like all the clones that made up, you know, the 501st Legion. I love them. Actually, Heavy, I'm not sure if he was. I believe he was. But I love the story of the clones, and I'm going to go with the 501st. Rex is one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters, and that plays a big part. Also, it was Anakin's personal Legion, and then it was Vader's personal Legion when, you know, Anakin turned into Vader. So 501st takes the cake. I love Bad Batch, but it's hard to have anything on Rex. He's just such an awesome character. But yeah, that pretty well does this Q&A. But again, guys, if you guys have a question for next Q&A, which is episode 15, which is crazy. I can't believe we've done 15 of these. Leave them in the comments. We'll get to them in episode 15. And again, guys, really, really like the questions in this one. I had to think about them. But yeah, if you guys like this video, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future Q&As we do on the channel. We do one of these basically once a month, and I really enjoy doing them. But yeah, that's all I got for you again. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.